All right. So let's go ahead and get it squared away here. Ravery Sports podcast. So last week we were talking about the draft in the NFL and all that other fun stuff. So this week we talked about who the Ravens would be targeting, and now we're going to talk about who's actually going to be Baltimore Ravens. So definitely we're going to go ahead and go into that as we go to free agency that's coming up soon. But tonight we're talking about the draft, one of my favorite events all year, probably a content creator's favorite event as far as the NFL draft. So definitely we're going to go over NFL draft targets. Now, not going to go over every position and everything as far as all over the board, but who are the Ravens be targeting early in the draft? Get you familiar with some of the names that are going to come up here in the draft early in the draft. So definitely check that out as well. So who are some of the guys that are going to be available early in the NFL draft? So keep that in mind as well. Next week, we're going to do our first mock draft. So definitely check that out. We're going to go over the NFL mock draft from beginning in from first round, anyway, 1 to 32, all the teams from 1 to 32 NFL draft mock, first mock, number one. After that, we're going to do Ravens mock draft the week after that. First Ravens mock draft, we'll go ahead and do that. Most of the time, though, the drafts will be on the same stream. So we're going to do the NFL mock draft, and then we'll do the Ravens one. So keep that in mind. All right, so let's go ahead and square this away for you. What is going on with the Twitter here? You can stand there and you can upon it and your big coach and truly tell you what I love here. What is going on with the Twitter here? I don't know. Anyway, all right. So let's go ahead and get to it. So definitely the Ravens. What positions are they going to be looking at? Wide receiver is definite need for them to go ahead and go forward. So definitely two receiver draft. I don't think the receivers I've seen when I've been looking at it are as good as they are last year as well. Definitely two. It'd be interesting to see what happens with Rashad Bateman in the offseason. They do have an extension for him. Could they be moving him now with a new coach? A lot is on the table here, right? You got no John Harbaugh here, so maybe you're making some changes. First round, number one, I think he will be. I don't know if he'll be there when the Ravens are picking, but McCollum, and I think is the real deal. This is probably the best receiver overall in the draft. Route running, not as good as maybe the 2 and 3, but blazing speed. Definitely two. As far as you want the burner, you want somebody that's going to get upfield. Best separator, I think, as well. Not as big as maybe you want, a little smallish. Route running needs some work, but great separation. Great separation. Definitely the guy who's the difference maker. You can see a similar to me, not an exact comp of Jackson Smith and Jigba JSS from the Seattle, that type of guys. I think he was kind of slept on a little bit in the draft, but blazing speed um, definitely be talented in the NFL. Also, to Carnell Tate is a guy interesting. I think Carnell Tate. Definitely because he played at Ohio State, I think some people are going to overrate him. Sometimes, as bad as it sounds, sometimes you can do that with Ohio State players because they have so much talent there, etc. He had Jeremiah Smith on the other side. He's pretty good, though. I think he's fundamentally sound. I think he's really good. I think he's like best case scenario, like a Stephon Diggs. Not tremendous speed, but he's a good combination of a lot of things, does a lot of things well. Tate, I wouldn't put him as a high first rounder, but I think a mid first rounder. Definitely somebody I think the Ravens would look at. I think he also worked well with the Zay Flowers, having him on your team. Jordan Tyson as well. Jordan Tyson, I think, is the best technical receiver in the draft. No question about it. Definitely, like if you want head fakes, like block, kind of reminds me not as much cheating as Hines Ward did, but kind of the same way. Kind of like did a lot of savvy to get open. Got a lot of route running, knows how to break off the line of scrimmage, knows how to fool DBs, etc. A lot of that. Third, not great speed. Excellent with the 50-50 ball. He's got great speed, not great speed, and not great some injury history. So I think that's going to scare some teams off from picking up really high. Seeing a lot of places where he's the number one. I don't have him that high because of those things, but number two, definitely these three for sure in the first round. Denzel Brown from Washington. Again, I think he just needs to put it all together. He looks a little green to me, I think, when I see him. As good as he is, good speed, good athletic. I mean, if you're talking about a Spartacus type of guy, that's what you want. Kind of like a DK Metcalf. I'm not calling him DK Metcalf quite yet, but that type of build and everything, great speed as well. He still looks a little green. Even like you talk about Kyle Lennon not being the most polished Denzel as well. Concepcion from Texas A&M, I think good. This is a very late one. I think he's more of a 2 as well, along with Zachariah Branch as well. Certainly, I would say more with Todd Monken's offense if he was still here. That would be 1. But definitely a Zachariah Branch, a guy that there's certainly going to be slept on. So I think the Ravens early, maybe like a second round, those last 2 as well. Definitely keep your eye on those guys as well. Tight end. So you're losing possibly Isaiah Likely. You're possibly losing Charlie Kolar. Maybe you need to draft a couple of tight ends in this one as well. So keep that in mind here as well. Would they take a tight end in the first round? I think it's possible. I don't know if they will, but certainly possible. Kenyon Sadiq from Oregon as well. All of the talent that they have in Oregon. This guy, definitely the best tight end, complete tight end in the NFL draft so far this year. I definitely think that is. I think there's a pretty good distance this year from him and everybody else. I don't think there's anybody else that you really take early as well. Everybody else, I think, on the board is a solid 2 or below. Eli Stowers caught passes from Diego Pava in Vanderbilt, so definitely a solid choice. I think he's a mid 2. I think 1 is even the 2, but mid 2. I don't love the speed of him as well. Good combo guy though, does a lot of things well. Dallas Goedert, I think high end for him as well. You never know. I said I got my flow wet, but as well. Really like Max Clare from Ohio State. Max Clare, I think when I see him, I see a little bit of a Dennis Pitta as well. He's not going to get you great yak every time. He's more of a dropping, what they call catch and drop guy, right? For a tight end spot. See a lot of him makes tough catches over the middle, get you that yard, gets those tough catches. He's not going to give you great yak. I think there's some potential there as well to be a little bit more. But it's about third round. After this third round, Michael Trigg and Jack Andrews, Penn State as well. Andrews, I think, has some upside. Little concerned. I think, again, kind of a little green. I think to pick him any higher than that. Not tremendous speed, but a lot of potential there as well. Cornerback class. The cornerback thing is kind of being slept on, I think, for a lot of people. I really think like the cornerback thing, you're kind of sleeping on a lot of these guys in terms of what they can do. As far as what we need, Marlon Humphrey issues there, may not come back, maybe having to ask to be taking a pay cut. Jair Alexander really didn't work out. Awuzie was good last year, but he's a free agent. Maybe you need at least 1 or 2 corners, but I feel like nobody's talking about that. So definitely something that they want. And I know nobody wants corners because they keep doing it, but it's still maybe a need for you. 3, I think, in the first round for sure. Mansour Delane, LSU. These 3 guys are very, very close, I think. Delane is probably your best on-ball outside guy that you have in the draft. Probably your best one in man-to-man. Now, not as many teams play man-to-man, but if the teams that are playing man-to-man a lot, you would take them like Kansas City, like Seattle, somebody like that, where you actually go on the island. I think this is probably the best option as well. It's close. It's really close. Jamon McCoy from Texas. I'm sorry, from Tennessee. I'm sorry, from Texas. I think it's again really close. It really depends on what teams you go to. Which really close these two. Avian Terrell of Clemson. I really like him. I think for some reason there seems to be a bit of a bias against Clemson guys and LS and USC because the teams didn't perform as well as they hope. When I'm looking at the tape of a lot of these guys, looking at these videos, there's a lot of good players on those teams. And I think I could absolutely have him as a number one guy, but I think Delane's just a little bit better on the outside. I think he's more of a zone guy. I think he'll do better in zone, a little bit more aggressive in the short area. Terrell, I think that's interesting. Colton Hood, I think definitely could go in the first round as well, kind of shooting up draft boards. Good here in the postseason as well. Getting looked at as well. Brad Chase, South Carolina. I'm not in love with this as much as well, but definitely top 5. I think when you talk about the first and second round, you gotta take guys out on guys on the outside. I would say you have to do it, but you want to take guys that are outside that have that potential to be the Revis Island, the Deion Sanders, etc. So you want a guy like that, go ahead, do it. And I think D'Angelo Pons, was the best player on the team that just won the national championship. On the defensive side, Pons, I think, definitely he's a force multiplier. You could put him in a lot of spots. Excellent, maybe the best nickel cornerback in the draft. I think he could play outside a little small as well. That's why he's a little bit lower. Offensive tackle, I was going to say his ring wrong. Malaluga from Miami. I don't understand why this guy isn't easily the number one pick as far as the offensive lineman. I keep seeing Spencer Fano's name. I think it's pretty wide margin. The body type is, I think, a bias. I think in baseball, when you have guys that throw underhand, there's a bit of a bias against their talent. And I think Mulligan, when you have his body type, I think is a bit of a bias. I think it's pretty easy for me that he's the number one guy. Spencer Fano, I think, is really good as well. I think you could probably serve him best to put him on the right side. I definitely think he's got a lot of talent there as well. This is easily a first-round pick. Caden Proctor, some people, again, body type, you may want to kick him in the guard as well. You're going to keep hearing that. Arm length, probably huge. 350, 360, definitely has all the size in the world. I think worst case for him, he's a Morgan Moses in the NFL. Caleb Lomu from Utah, I think is outstanding player in his own right. I think both the tackles from Utah are really good. I think both of them could go in the first round. I think both of them can almost start right away. Monroe Freeland, maybe everybody else doesn't have him as high, but I really like Monroe Freeland things. I'm sorry. He looks pretty ready to play left tackle to me. I think the run blocking, I think, is a bit of a concern, if anything, but not a lot. I love his feet. I love the way he looks at left tackle. I think he's really being slept on as well. The strength is the only thing with him is the strength I kind of don't. I don't know. He could wind up like Will Campbell where he needs to get a little stronger as well. But the feet, the footwork, and I love it with Monroe Freeland. Isaiah World, it's a $5 cab ride to get around him. This guy is huge. Definitely, you talk about guys like Fano Amelia, Proctor. Even Proctor looks small. Isaiah World. So they got some big guys playing it as well. Jennings Dunker. I think first round is a bit high unless you're going to play him at guard. I think him at tackle. Look, can't go wrong with Iowa tackles. Can't go wrong with Iowa offensive linemen as well. If you want an offensive lineman, you want to look at a position, Kirk Ferentz as well. Pretty easy here as well at guard. Vegalone, we're just calling that. This is full name, but this is probably the guy you're looking at if you're the Ravens at 14 for offensive guard as well. That's it. I don't think there's anybody else at that height. He is good. I'm seeing some people don't like his feet and all that. I'm not seeing that. His feet, I think, are excellent. Again, I like Molly. I think there's a little bit biased because he's, not doesn't have that Ronnie Stanley type build, that Miles Garrett type, but he is got great feet. I think you've seen him in a game. He was playing actually at tight end. I like him a lot. I think he's an outstanding offensive tackle as well. Guard, definitely easy first round. This is the one, if you are going to look at this position in the first round, if you're the Ravens, this is it. Mario Paragon, I think, is probably a little bit later in the first round. I don't think you take him early. I think probably later, maybe like the Squealers or the Eagles or something like that. If he's there, that's an option. If they're really looking at that, maybe they're looking at some help as well. Or if the Ravens trade down, which is why he's here as well. The rest, I think you're looking at the second round. Chase Bonders, Caleb Retches, DJ Campbell. I think the second and third round. So if you don't get one early in the first round, I think definitely you're looking at a second round. This is 9-1-1 prime need. You Andrew Voorhees and Daniel Falele, that ain't gonna work, bro. You got to do something at guard. I think your biggest need, is right here, the edge position for the Ravens. So definitely look at it. Ruben Bain probably be gone, but man, that would be such a fine. For some reason, I think he may drop a little more as well. To me, he's the best player in the draft. I think if as far as a big boy, he might be number one to me out of everywhere. The problem with him is he's a really true 4-3 end, and I don't know how. I think you might lose a little something with him with all this hybrid stuff with teams. I don't think as many teams would use him, so I think that's maybe why he'll drop a bit. He's not going to drop past Eric DeCosta as well. Bailey is more of a guy that's being used more in the league now. Outstanding pass rusher, outstanding production, double-digit sacks last year, Texas Tech. Definitely a game record. Jumps out on the film. Like, there's no missing Bailey. Sometimes you watch film and you need him to circle like the guy. You don't need anything with Bailey. Bailey, you can see it right away. Cassius House, same 11 sacks last year, Texas A&M. I actually think the Ravens could take him. He definitely could be there at 14. Definitely similar to Bailey, not quite as explosive. That's why I have him a little bit low, but similar. Parker, not as good this year during the regular season. 5 sacks down from 11. Clemson, not as good. Good in the camp, Senior Bowl, and everything, etc. That's pretty good. So you look at that. Hakeem Messidor was terrific. I think the only reason he's not higher is because he's older, and kind of the same thing with Bain. Had Bain on the other side. That pass rush in Miami was the reason they got as far as they did. That's absolutely true. Kendrick Falk, I see him higher on boards. I am not quite as high on him. I need production, as well. I've kind of seen this movie a couple times with guys like Oway and Sidney Stewart, guys like that, great bodies, great this, athleticism, and not enough. No, I think the potential certainly, and sometimes they fool you, but I think it's definitely there. Definitely athleticism is there. No question about it. As good of an athlete as anybody on the list. Derek Moore is going to be interesting. Played with Jesse Minter at Michigan in the defense, and I think played with Jesse Minter at Michigan, and also had a very good Senior Bowl week. So he kind of moved up about 15 spots, very dominant there as well. So he can maybe move to second round. I don't think you take him early in the first round, but definitely solidly in the second round. I see him on some of the thirds. I think he's going in the second. One last section, the EDC special is what we're going to call it. So these guys are not need spots, but I definitely think they could be taken if they're there. Jeremiah Love, I think, is a stud. I think definitely they have to consider that if that's at 14. Avell Reese, I think, is going to be gone for sure. I'm not sure teams know how to use him as much as these draft guys keep saying everybody's going to take. He's a special talent that has to be used a certain way as well. I do believe he will do it. Caleb Downs is an outstanding safety. I do believe they'll take a safety. I know they will. I don't want that, but I think they'll definitely do it. Caleb Banks, Peter Woods as well. Banks, again, excellent Senior Bowl as well. I think he's definitely moved into the first round. Peter Woods, I like him. I think I like everything I've seen. Again, I think they weren't as good this year, so I think there's a bit of a I'm missing where this guy should be falling that much. I think excellent talent there as well. There you go. So those are the targets. Those are the guys the Ravens are looking at in the 2026 draft. We're going to keep covering the draft as well. Next few weeks, first mock draft and the second Ravens, our first Ravens mock draft. So we'll definitely go over that as well. For the last time, we'll talk about it during the course of the year.